When our Savior was asked, "Which is the great commandment?" he replied, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the great and first commandment. And a second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. On these two commandments depend all the law and the prophets." In saying this, Jesus was not downplaying the law that God gave through Moses. In fact, he was quoting Deuteronomy on the love of God and Leviticus on the love of neighbor. This is the passage from Leviticus: "You shall not take vengeance or bear any grudge against the sons of your own people, but you shall love your neighbor as yourself. I am the Lord." Take note of these words from Leviticus. They tell us that the genuine love of neighbor proceeds from the love of God as its source, without which love of neighbor has no sure foundation. The Christian understanding of love of neighbor is more than mere humanitarianism, which Jesus acknowledged is possible even for unbelievers. Do not even the Gentiles do the same? The biblical understanding of love of neighbor is connected above all with the service of God. Recall Jesus' own words from the Sermon on the Mount. "So, if you are offering your gift at the altar, and there remember that your brother has something against you, leave your gift there before the altar and go. First be reconciled to your brother, and then come and offer your gift." Worship is not an optional extra, but the goal of all human life. In Leviticus we read, "You shall be holy, for I, the Lord your God, am holy." The entirety of our lives and relationships should be a service offered unto God. Thus the Apostle writes to the Romans, "I appeal to you therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, to present your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable to God, which is your spiritual worship." That is why at the offertory the bread and wine, fruit of the earth and fruit of the vine upon which human hands have labored, are brought forward and offered for consecration in the sacrifice. Archbishop Fulton J. Sheen had this to say about the symbolism of the bread and wine even before the consecration. Why do we bring bread and wine to the Mass? We bring bread and wine because these two things, of all things in nature, most represent the substance of life. Wheat is as the marrow of the ground, and the grapes its very blood, both of which give us the body and blood of life. In bringing those two things, which give us life, nourish us, we are equivalently bringing ourselves to the sacrifice of the Mass. He chooses us today as the other small hosts, united with him on the paten. How does our sacrifice become one with Christ's? Only by penitence and faith. In that light, let us think about our earthly goods and about the 7th Commandment, "You shall not steal." Christ our Redeemer considered the prohibition of theft important enough to mention it specifically. "But what comes out of the mouth proceeds from the heart, and this defiles a man. For out of the heart come evil thoughts, murder, adultery, fornication, theft, false witness, slander." The book of Genesis tells us that God gave to Adam and Eve dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the air, and over every living thing that moves upon the earth. Thus the goods of the earth are for the benefit of all the children of Adam. Respect for private property is not selfishness, but rather makes possible prosperity and peace, and free cooperation and justice among men. To take or injure another's goods is contrary to the justice and charity that is owed to one's neighbor. St. Paul says that neither thieves, nor the greedy, nor drunkards, nor revilers, nor robbers will inherit the kingdom of God. The Catechism teaches that the ownership of any property makes its holder a steward of providence, with the task of making it fruitful and communicating its benefits to others, first of all, to his family. As with all rights, this right to property has limits and comes with responsibilities. Public authority has the duty to regulate its exercise. A Christian should also be willing to share his blessings with those who are less fortunate. This is in keeping with the spirit of Christ himself, who, though he was rich, yet for your sake became poor, so that by his poverty you might become rich. The sin of theft is committed by unjustly taking or keeping the goods of one's neighbor, or by actions that wrong one's neighbor with respect to his goods. To steal or confiscate the goods of the church, which were given for the service of God, is to commit the sin of sacrilege, as well as of theft and robbery. While the free exchange of goods and services is generally fitting, there are moral limits. The enslavement of human beings, whether for economic advantage or for ideological reasons, is contrary to God's law and to human dignity. We must also take care of mineral, vegetable, and animal resources. As the Catechism says, man's dominion over inanimate and other living beings granted by the Creator is not absolute. It is limited by concern for the quality of life of his neighbor, including generations to come. It requires a religious respect for the integrity of creation. Animals are God's good creatures, and should not be abused or mistreated, or made to suffer needlessly. However, it is legitimate to make use of them for human benefit, such as food and clothing and medical research. Animals have real value in God's sight, but they are not on the same level as human beings. The spirit in which we should regard the goods and blessings of this world is expressed by St. Paul in his words to Timothy. As for the rich in this world, charge them not to be haughty, nor to set their hopes on uncertain riches, but on God, who richly furnishes us with everything to enjoy. They are to do good, to be rich in good deeds, liberal and generous, thus laying up for themselves a good foundation for the future, so that they may take hold of the life which is life indeed.